How you doing? How you doing? Doug Craig here. This is Doug Craig's Damn Podcast. And I'm so happy to have a friend of mine who is when I call him, I don't want to gas you up. This brother has a wide range of music. He's reaching out there and he's knocking them out of the park. We don't even want to talk about the women in his videos. But anyway, I've got King David Jr. coming up on Doug Craig's Damn Podcast. Hey, this is Doug Craig. I'm your host today. We're featuring a very dynamic music artist. He's the one and only King David Jr. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, hey, my world was all right until you stepped in the room. Then it got even better. I was like, dang, the king is in the building. Right. Man, and the thing that's so cool, man, is you keep yourself surrounded by talent.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And you let a few people in your circle. You brought somebody in particular I just happen to know as well. Ladies and gentlemen, also in the building is Mr. Lyriq. What's happening, man?
What's good, everybody? What's good?
Oh, man. So King David is really, from his production standpoint, musically, to his videos, which we'll talk about later, and to his own general style is just doper than dope. And I'm glad to have worked with him in several capacities. All right. So let's just jump right into it, man. And let's talk about, tell us about your background and what inspired you to just pursue a music career, man.
Okay. Well, my background is, when I was younger, I really couldn't sing. I didn't learn how to sing until I was like 19 or something like that. So I started off originally as a battle rapper.
What?
It helped with a lot of the anger issues I had in that, that teenage, and then I drifted onto music. I could sing and stuff like that. So I was a really big fan as a kid of Prince, Michael Jackson, the Gap Band, people like that. People that were kind of like universal. That just appealed to me.
Actual musicians.
Yeah, instrumentation. That was a really big thing, in the 80s.
What's tripped out is when I first met you, again, it was on another playground. It was on something totally different. But the first music you let me hear, I was like, damn, this brother he's doing it. Because you had your guitar player from Belize, your bongo player from South Africa. You had, it was a global thing. How did you approach that whole production piece during that time?
I think you're talking about time.
No, he's talking about every record. He'll have a trumpet player from Madagascar. What the hell is even in Madagascar except for the talking elephants?
Yeah, I have 2 or 3 different directions that I take. Sometimes I will make the song up in the melody and the words in my head. Mm-hmm. Then I had a guy who I was working with, Mr. Melodic Beats, and then I work with a lot of people from an app called Fiverr. Okay. And you can go on there, you can find producers, you can find guitar players, trumpet players. Mm-hmm. You can. The good thing about that is someone in Detroit, I would have to pay them, and then I would have to pay the studio costs. Right. So I just paid them in the app. They use that studio to produce that music. I have the right to either accept it or reject it, So you save a lot of money with a lot of people on the app. The problem is some projects, you're not there with them, so things can get kind of confusing of what my actual vision is. So
especially when there's language barriers, right?
Most of them that I communicate, they speak English. Some of them don't speak it good, but it's well enough to we can communicate, because most of them do that I communicate with, they speak English, or I don't know what's on their end. May have apps or something like that. I have talked to an agent. I was talking to the phone and it would translate what I'm trying to say. Sweet. But a lot Fiverr has been, the next level to my production. I have a couple of people, a guitar player and a producer from the Ukraine. A lot of people, they love black music, man. It's like, have you been in love with black music all your life? Because y'all are just phenomenal.
Well, man, music is that universal language, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like a natural fit. If they're feeling the sound of the song, and you're feeling what they're doing, you don't even have to understand what they're talking about, just so long as it fits, you know.
Yeah, because a lot of people I've talked to, I think I worked at least 30 different countries and stuff like that, and they all love black music. But my question is, dealing with racism, why don't the record sales show that? Because the rest of the world have been influenced by black music, but our record sales are not showing that. So it's like, how do they know black music so well?
Well, that's some deep shoes you're stepping in right now.
Yeah.
And but it is true. It's like the real music. You mentioned Gap Band, Prince,
yes.
Michael Jackson. It's like black music is the lifeblood of music, modern day music, right? And the thing that's really cool is not only did you reach out through technology to other countries, you also boomeranged your way back locally to a fellow producer / cool Mo D kind of guy. Lyriq, what's happening, man?
Hey, man.
First of all, before you jump off and get into telling the world how well you produce and your whole strategy, you are a producer, a writer, a director, an actor, freaking your movies, man. You got some movies out there.
Yes, sir.
Hit me in the head with the big one right now that you got out there.
Oh well, we just did the Higher and Higher, the Jackie Wilson story. I directed that. Also acted in it. I played Dizzy Gillespie in it. Great production that was actually produced by his daughter Brenda Wilson. So
nice.
Yes, that one we did the premiere and sold out the whole Bel Air theater. At first, I think it was the most sales that they ever done there. It's an indie film, so that was.
I was going to ask if that was an independent film premiere and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
man, that's dope. And I'm just going to call it a Detroit producer, because Detroit is definitely on the map production wise. It's always been on the map musically, but I think with the combination of you and King David Jr., y'all come up with some pretty unique music.
Yeah, so the thing is I'm completely the opposite of a Detroit producer. I just actually live here. And what's interesting, even with me, the acknowledgement and accolades and everything that I got came from the industry first. Mm-hmm. It worked backwards with me. Mm-hmm. So it was the Ray J's, all this other stuff, just out there, and then didn't really get the recognition in the city. So it's just recently, over the last maybe 5 or 6 years now, that the T Grizzlies and the different people I'm working with that in the city, they're like, oh yeah, he is dope. I've been dope since 2004. Like, what are you?
I noticed how you just slid in a couple of names. And Ray J. What's up with that? Tell us about that.
So yeah, I'm 2 times gold. I wrote the song Melody for Ray J, and just recently went gold co-producing Satish with Helluva. Shout out to Helluva. On T Grizzly's album, The Smartest. I played all the pianos on it. I played like over 8 instruments. So, did the lyrics and melody on one song, and then, keyboard and instrumentation on another.
And what's tripping me out is the fact that Detroit kind of rested on the Motown laurels, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, Motown. Now, I know the Gordy family. Friends of mine, right? Mm-hmm. We're cool. But from a business standpoint, I was like, let's stop talking about Motown.
Yeah.
Okay. We can honor it, cherish it, appreciate it, and be proud of it.
It'll never happen again.
But hey,
not the way it did then.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
It's supposed to.
Because it was its moment. It was what it was supposed to be in that time. And so now I'm gonna show you how I'm looping this around with King David. It's like, you mentioned the R&B, the true music stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like you connected yourself with a beat maker from a producer standpoint. Lyriq, shoot, man, when I met you, oh, man, it was in the posture of, actually it was educational, because I met you. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
My mom,
We real humans, but musically and creatively we met in a music posture and then a film posture as well. And so I said all that to say, and wait, let me do one more thing. King David, he surrounded himself. He put me in that mix too. So King David,
absolutely,
he knows how to surround himself with a diverse I guess, layout of quality people. And we're not Eminem. We're not T Grizzly. You know, we are who we are in our own right. And I think when people hear this project all the way through and they really listen to his, what did you say, Madagascar? Is that what he got? His bongo player? What do you get?
You literally can pick a random, just spin the globe and go, pff. Oh, he played the flute.
Okay.
What's that? The Czech Republic? Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. So, you know, so that's what I love about your project. It's going to have that. And my hope is that Detroit will embrace what you are. But I don't think they're going to know it's you being a Detroiter first, because you're kind of forward.
Well, that's kind of but that was kind of what I was saying about the limitation of like, I love my city. It's the reason why I haven't moved. You know, we could be living anywhere, but the limitation should be limited to that, because we do music for the world and we just happen to live here. Because if you look at what would be considered Detroit music, you know, you'd have, you know, fast-paced hip-hop, you have the subject matter of that. If you talk about Detroit movies, then you know what kind of is like dominating Tubi. Yet there are people within that live in this city that do stuff that far past the norm.
And I have a personal reason for this one. Mm-hmm. Detroit techno. It's
Absolutely.
global. It's been global for like 30 years.
Yes.
And
you had a lot to do with that.
Well, you know, I was part of the jump off,
Mm-hmm.
right? But anyway, those guys like Kevin Saunderson, Juan Atkins, Carl Craig, Jeff Mills, those guys, they could walk the streets of Paris, France, anywhere, and they need security. They come back home, they cold chilling. Mm-hmm. Cold chilling. That's what I think is real cool about it. You know, all this diversity from producers, writers, and artists are now not just being rappers from Detroit. And that's why King David Jr., your project, I think it really shines in that.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, man. So now look, that's the good stuff. What would you say, were there any barriers that you came across that maybe got in your way as far as launching your career or creatively? Was there anything that created a disappointment for you?
I just had to find people that knew music, and I wanted to grow from that, because it took me the longest time to find Mr. Melodic Beats, and we met, you know, it was like I was doing music on myself, you know, I would write it down, memorize it and stuff, but I had to get with somebody who knew music, that took music class, because I didn't know music, you know, per se, for the musical instruments. You know, somebody can show me on a guitar and I can replay it, or a piano, but I'm not a piano player or a guitar player, you know. So I wanted to, you're only strong as your team is. I only wanted to work with people that knew music, and then grow from that, you know, and have them to bring their talents and bring his talents. And, you know, we can all come together as brothers and, you know, do a phenomenal job. You know?
And this is about Detroit again. A lot of the behind the scenes people in music, dude, they're straight out of Detroit. They're straight out of here.
Always have.
You know, unsung people like Greg Fillinganes. That dude, he started out working at Chrysler and telling everybody he's going to be big in music, and he was recording with Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, and the Commodores. You know, that was his thing. And then right across the street from me, we had Ray Parker Jr., right? So Detroit is just littered with a lot of people that's really the catalyst of a big sound. And I'm so glad that the King David Jr. Project isn't falling into its own I'll call it a trap of trying to redo what Motown did, or to try to imitate what Detroit techno is doing. You are really, man, dude. Okay, so now let's pick on one or two songs, man. Which one of your songs can you describe creatively, and what you did to produce that?
One of the first things I did was, for producing, was a song called I'm in Love. You know, I took a lot of Spanish influences, and then I mixed it with R&B. And I sat down and it's sensual song, but it didn't go to the far being explicit and stuff like that. So I'm in love, and I just I'm making a style. I'll do this: a rock baby, a blues baby, pop baby. That was something different. It was like Latin soul, So, and I put those two together, and it came out phenomenal. I was really surprised. I got a Spanish guitar player from Turkey. I had a
bongo player from Madagascar.
I work with everybody because my musical start was I wanted to reflect black music, and black music has so many modalities, but unless you're doing church music, it all gets put just R&B. So we did jazz, we did rock and roll. It's like
you should touch on the point of mixed musical arts, because by him being a real big Bruce Lee fan, which I was too as a kid, mixed martial arts and everything, his Jeet Kune Do style was no style, and his mixed musical arts is literally. I've worked and produced a lot of people, and just his whole approach to things. He'll take two things or two genres that you wouldn't think to mesh, and then mesh it together, and I'd be sitting there like, wow, that's crazy. I wouldn't have thought to do that. And so tell him about that.
No, let me say this. I didn't want to insult him by trying to give it a particular description.
Can't.
And it was a good problem because I was like, what is he? Like what kind of music? And that's when the light bulb went off for me. I was like, well, damn, that's the beauty of it, because music is for all people. And if you take a particular angle, if it's old school R&B, you're going to make it relevant by giving it relevant subject matter. So, props off to you, dude.
I call my music, I had two names. I called it mulatto music because I'm mixing different styles together. Then I call it mixed musical arts because I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee and his style of Jeet Kune Do. It's more so
that's a form of martial arts.
Yeah, it's a Jeet Kune Do.
Okay,
I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's more so a philosophy that individual has to make a style based upon their advantages and stuff like that. Like Bruce Lee. I was watching an interview with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem tried to hip throw Bruce Lee. He was like, "You're taller than me. I'm 5'7". So you have to use what you got as your advantages and stuff like that. And mixed musical arts is basically that. All the modalities of black music. We're more than just rap. We're more than just R&B. But then a white artist can do R&B and water it down, and they call it blue-eyed soul. It's R&B. I mean, you got what is his name? Bruno Mars,
Thick.
Robin Thicke. I'm from Detroit. I know a Marvin Gaye ripoff song when I hear it.
We could have been on that jury, and the case would have been over like the day it started.
Yeah, they get a pass, but Adele have done stuff.
They ain't get a pass. They got sued bad. They got sued. That thing sued for like $7.3 million.
Oh yeah, but the hope is you do a song that you get ripped on, and you get to sue them too. Yeah. So that's a good thing. But that goes to the structure of being innovators. I won't go into it, but I had a project. That very thing happened, and that's one thing about Detroit. I say it's in the water we drink. We are quiet geniuses. I think musically, people try to jack our styles. I'll reference back to what I know. What is that? Out of Louisiana, you had the Cash Money Millionaire guys, and I just happened to be up in the room with their main producer, and I was like, "Man, let me spin on your turntables for a minute." And I was going through his records, and he was like, "Yo, man, those are my Detroit records, man. Don't mess with those." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So when I started showing him projects with my name on them, dude was like, no joke. He bowed down. I was like, come on, man, you kidding me? He said, nah, man, that Detroit techno, And so when you take your mashup of quality culture statements and then you pull it all together, that's different. And I was going to ask you this question, and maybe you can do a better job of it than what I was just saying. The question is, what separates you from most artists that are out there right now?
Diversity. Yes, diversity. Listen to an eclectic style. People like Prince, Terrence Trent D'Arby, those people that could had that diversity. They can sell records to black people. They can sell records to white people. They had a pop audience. That was something that appealed to me. I recently met one of my half brothers, and he was like, "Well, don't forget to do some rock stuff." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Rock and R&B?" Mm-hmm. I was thinking, like, who I'm gonna sell that to? And then I thought on it. Well, we created rock and roll. Elvis Presley is the king of rock and roll, but
he got the notoriety for it.
Yes.
Who was that brother? I can't recall his name. Lyriq, you know the guy?
I think his name is Jackie Wilson.
Well, all we know is Elvis was doing something different, and he heard his brother in the studio, and the story is that he just picked up his own style. Well, he stole that style from the dude and made a whole huge career out of it. They
were close. People didn't know that they were good friends. That's
Wow.
kind of like one of the things that are divulged in the TV series that we directed.
Wow.
Up into including an actual exchange where Elvis is like, "Well, I guess I'm the black Jackie Wilson." He said, "Well, I guess I'm the no." He said I'm the white Jackie Wilson. He said, "I guess I'm the black Elvis."
Wow.
And that camaraderie.
And see, you just said it. I never heard that even mentioned. And you're sitting right here in the studio, and you said that, and I thought you were throwing it out like a joke or something, right? But no, that's on the real.
On the real.
Wow.
And it's actually an actual scene in it coming from the mouth of his daughter. Family, yeah, so a lot of stuff that's divulged, but that's true. The influences, you'd be surprised. And our people have influenced so much about music in so many different genres, which is why it makes him a bit of an anomaly, because you have so many influences all on one project. And I think you got 4 or 5 albums or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're gonna hear some of everything in them, and it's really limitless. So I'm really hoping that you get the chance to get the platform where people get to see it for where it is and for what it is now, because it really is it's a piece of work. So all right,
dude. So you have 4 or 5 albums worth of material?
Yeah.
Dang, man.
I've been working at it for a minute. When I met Melodic, I already had a list of songs. I didn't have them on the piano or nothing like that. I had them in my head. I feel like I have a band playing for me. So when I met him, he would just sit at the piano and just play, play along with what I was doing. And hey, we went to work.
And it doesn't matter whether you can play the keyboards or not. As long as you can articulate that sound that's in your head to someone who actually plays.
Yes.
And give them the room to kind of sauce it up a little bit. But,
a lot of people don't know that that's actual production.
Yeah.
When you think of now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how many instruments Quincy played, but Quincy was the type of producer that we all know that would be like, "Hey, you drummer, I need this. Hey, you over there, I need this, and they put it together." That is a form of production. And when I met you and we started working or whatever, you remember that day? I was like, "You do know you're a producer." He was like, "How you figure that?"
I remember that.
I'm the one told him.
Yeah,
he was like, he was like, "Well, I don't play no instruments. I can't make beats." And I said, "That's not the only thing that production is.
Yeah.
You're very much a producer because you, Nicaragua, I need that. Hey, you, the lost city of Atlantis, I need your ethereal harps to play this." And then you put them all together, and then it's just like,
because I was saying something. Well, he produced this, he did this. He was like, "No, you a producer too." And I just looked like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You putting all this?" I was like, "That's what Dr. Dre does. That's what Quincy Jones does." I haven't seen Quincy Jones play instrument in years.
Yeah.
you see him with that wand.
Yeah, Dr. Dre couldn't reproduce the Chronic because most of the musicians that he had on there, they left.
Right. Well, and I went through music programs, right? And I say this, I was always really good at instruments, but I never mastered one instrument. So when I got into studio environments, as a promoter, I'm in the studio, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy, he's having a hard time with this pocket on this particular, and he's playing live. I said, dude, hey, let me see your sticks for a minute. And I'll get in there, and they'd be like, dang, the promoter's on it. And it's because I could. I could at least play what I was hearing in my head.
Yeah.
Now, I was nowhere near as good as that guy, but in trying to describe what I heard the artist say he wanted, as a drummer myself, I could jump in, and do that kind of thing. So that's the beauty of production. You know enough about all the instruments that you're not good enough to play one of them and knock people out the windows with it, but you know a good damn guitar player when you hear one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my talent is I can recognize other people's talent. I can know this guitar player is going to be right to this song, but not that song. This person is going to be able to do the harmonies on this song, but you're not going to be able to, like that. So it's I heard Will Smith. He was like, when he started his career, he looked up all the greatest, biggest grossing movies of all times, and what came up is they all were sci-fi movies. So that's how he started his career. I looked at that. Prince really wasn't hitting until he really got deep into the funk. It was a watered down version of funk that other people could dance to. But once he got that 1999, that's when a lot of people started messing with him.
Yeah.
And then he put the little rock on top of it and stuff and messed it together, and it just came out. It is what it is.
You in the interview, you just said that. Well, actually, Lyriq, you mentioned that he had 4 or 5 albums worth of material. That tripped me out. But what happens is, when people have been really working on this for a long time, you get one record, it blows up, right? It just goes freaking bananas. It might even be on a movie or something. And then they're going to want more. So then you just got a whole warehouse or vault of creative pieces that you've done. And then the word comes out, dang, King David Jr. came out of nowhere. I mean, dang, he dropping hit after hit. And they don't know he dropped that hit, 10 years ago, So it's crazy, man. So how did it make you feel when Lyriq referred to you as being a producer? Like, did he, wait. Did he make you kiss the pinky ring and say, you have been made. You are a producer.
Yeah. At one point, we were finishing the first album, and we were talking about something, and he was like quiet. He said, this is a classic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah. And then I went home and I thought about what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you said this is a classic album? I was like, wow. It was like, from a person who didn't take any music classes, that's a hell of a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
But he's right. I am a producer. My talent is I can see other people's talent even when they can't see it themselves.
Mm-hmm. And this is something that I noticed, I don't watch dudes in your movies. Okay? I'm always checking out the females you have in your videos.
Okay.
Dude, I mean, so what's your formula for that? fine plus what equals?
Even with the women, there's a variety of, diversity.
Mm-hmm.
I think on one of the videos, I'm in love, so it was a Spanish song, so I had a Spanish chick, to come in. The next song, I think it was Dance For Me. We had a black chick. She was kind of like, a scripper for her husband and stuff like that, and it was my birthday. But I find a lot of women off of Instagram. I contact them, I be on the professional side. And I'm not trying to sleep with them when I see them, so they feel comfortable working with me. So it's just eye candy. You know, you're selling, you're marketing, you know, beautiful women and music at the same time. So it just kind of worked out to my advantage.
That eye and ear for creative, as Lyriq mentioned, it puts you branded as a producer. But again, a lot of times you have to go out there first from an artist standpoint, you know, to get the shine, I guess. But if you want to get the real checks, you got to produce and write. And that's why when I look at your resume, when it says, you know, it's singer, songwriter, producer, and actor, it for every new word that comes up on your list, that's a new chance of you blowing up in the whole thing. Because when you produce something, you're going to start pulling on people you know.
Yeah.
You know, and talent and out of yourself. So that's real dope.
Yeah. Networking and things like that.
Yeah. So what do you say about one thing we haven't touched on yet, acting.
Okay.
What's your deal on acting? What's like? Give us some.
I did 2 roles in I think it's called Season Ronin, and then I did I played a police officer for another guy. I think it's called Put Him on the Floor or something like that. I was playing the parole officer and stuff like that. So it just really messed in with my energy. You know, I ad-libbed a little bit, you know, in that role and stuff. It just kind of worked out. It really surpassed my, you know, thoughts of me. It was something that I always wanted to do, but I was a little bit too shy to go and do it. So when Lyriq came with the character, Mike Nash and stuff like that, and he was telling me about it, I was like, oh, okay, you know, and we did an audition. And I was like, Lyriq, I was doing it, you know, based upon what he said. I was like, okay, can we do another take? I just want to freestyle and, you know, feel comfortable and let loose, you know. And I just did my own version, you know, how I would say it, you know. Being raised, you know, in the projects and stuff like that, I drew upon the characters that were in my family, my stepfather, the mailman and stuff like that, and how he talked and how he cursed. And I just took it all in and just, you know, exploded. And when it was over, this man gave me high fives and everything. He was like, man, that was explosive. He told me, man, I think you're going to make more money off of acting than music.
Than even music.
Wow.
Sure did.
I was like, are you serious? That was like, you know, my first time acting, you know, so.
Well, you know, the thing about it that's really cool. What you hear the thing that says, if you're around 4 broke people, you're the 5th one to be broke. You know, if you're around 4 rich people, you're going to be the 5th one to be rich. You're surrounding yourself with talented people.
Yeah.
And I think the artists who think that they're better than everyone else are the ones that want to be the best one in the room, and they don't have the guts to bring in a Lyriq.
Yeah.
You know, somebody.
Yeah, because they want all the glory for themselves.
Exactly.
They don't, you know, you're only strong as your team.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So what did you think when you first seen me act? Because I've never met you before, and you seen like an audition tape. So what was your thoughts on that?
You were authentic. I can say that much. You were authentic. It's like you pulled from anger when you needed it. You pulled from camaraderie. And there was one scene in particular, I thought you were the person that, you know, I was like, dang, what happened to King David? What's up? So as a producer, writer, songwriter, you know, an artist, you live your role at the appropriate time. And I think that's what sets you apart. That's my thought. I think it sets you apart. A lot of people are, what's the word I'm looking for? They jockeying, you know, they riding on other people. Oh, they're doing this, so I'm going to do that too. And for you, you're like, heck with it. I'm going to do what I'm feeling.
You'd be surprised because like I was recently at an audition, what was at a project, but before I went in and did my reading or whatever, you had people that were sitting on the couch where he's like, yeah, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do like my rendition. Chris Tucker, I'm gonna do this, and he's saying it in this tone, and I get method acting. You know, it's a way of studying, but you can lose authenticity when you're so hinged on I want to do it
else.
like this. And I can honestly say, whether it's music or film, I've never heard them say, yeah, I want to sing something. I'm going to do this like Al Green. Or I'm going to do this like he just does him. So that's to be appreciated.
That's
Yeah. Because I seen I think we were auditioning. No, not auditioning, but going over the script at one. I can't remember. It was on 7 Mile or something like that.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, we were about to leave, and she was like, "I think you my favorite character." And I was like, "What? I'm not even the star of the movie. What are you talking about?" So that kind of made me feel good, especially being this my first job. Yeah.
Man, that's dope. I keep saying that because it is. It's like a lift, a high to see creative. And the thing that to me as a man, just man to man, brother to brother, you do it with confidence. You're not letting anybody tell you, "Oh, you too old to be a producer. You too old to get started." No, I mean you're 24.
I literally attack and drop jewels whenever I hear anybody say that, because I do acting coaching and stuff like that, and then even just artist development. So whenever I hear somebody talk about their age, I always reference Morgan Freeman. Since we all been alive, he's always been like at least 70 and up. So it was seen. But the fact of the matter is, young Morgan Freeman, there's pictures, there's film, all black hair, all black afro, and nobody knew. But he got his acting career started at age 36, but he didn't blow to 52. Lean on Me was his one that blew. And then, so whenever somebody is, it don't matter if they're in their 30s or 40s or 50s, like, man, I'm too old. Like, I don't want to hear that. And I tell that story. They be like, wow. And I said, I'm going to hit you with one more. And then they're like, what? I said, you seen Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? Like, yeah. I said, do you remember when he went and was talking to the elders? And, yeah. And then you saw when the woman was sitting there, she had the really long earlobes. They was like damn near hanging out. Like, yeah. Well, I researched it, and she got that role when she was 82, filmed it. The movie didn't come out until she was 88. That means that she didn't get her time to shine until 88. And then I recently saw the most recent installation of Black Panther after T'Challa had died. She's in it again. Got to be in her 90s.
Wow.
Still thriving. So here you are, whatever age you are, if there's a thought in the back of your head that you might be over the hill, you're not looking at the right, looking through the right lens at all. Because there is no hill. There is no number one. There's not a finish line until we're dead and in the grave. Until then, and by the way, I am writing a book. It's actually a motivational. It's called "What You Do in the Dash." At the beginning, it's all about the dash. Focus on the dash. It's not the distance, and at the time. Your time will come when it's your time, because you are a perennial talent. People will recognize you for what you are. When you get to the right plateau for all eyes to be on you, and you knock it out the park, that's when it's going to start, and that's when it's going to spark, and it's going to keep going until you park. Okay?
Man, it's crazy. I said, because you're 24. I say that because I know you're probably about 26. But no, I know for myself, and I'll just be straight up. I'm 58, but I feel like I'm 32. I mean, I feel like that young guy that's trying to still push it. And I think that helps with the creative process, because if you think young, you're going to think relevant, because the youth is driving the market. But there's that side of the youth. You can be thugged out or whatever. They want that real chill out R&B music that, man, my granddad used to listen to Al Green. or you know what I'm saying? It's like,
and then from that aspect, you got so much material. You realize that almost every song on each one of those projects can be on the soundtrack of so many different movies. Everybody always think, put it out there, be number one on the charts, go tour, and the end. Like the same thing that you've seen every. No, you got people that you can dominate soundtracks, because these both the indies and the major productions. They're always looking for material to put in their stuff. And I think that that's a route that you should definitely be gearing towards, because, they want to license some stuff that hasn't been done. I wish that I could say to you. What? That could be in like 1,000 movies, bro.
Yeah.
So there's a place. All I'm saying is there's a place for you, no matter what. You can't look at the age. You can't look in the mirror and be like, oh man, well I'm not Chris Brown. I ain't doing flips. I'm not this person. I ain't been in the industry 20 years. I don't got all these plaques. Who cares?
Yeah.
You got something worth value.
Yeah, because when I let people listen to my music, they always say, it sounds like something that should be in a movie. Everybody says that. It sounds like something that should be in a movie. You'd be like, wow, why do I keep hearing that?
Man, you know, excuse me, I think I introduced you to a young lady named Ametria Peridot. Ametria Peridot. And she's in her 20s. And she impressed the heck out of me because she says, I'm an actor, right? But I produce music, I rap, I sing. And if they want me as an actress, they have to place one of my songs in the movie. I was like, dang, this girl on point with this. And it's like, so I said, well, how many films have you been in? She says 12. I said, okay, that's cool. Now, how many song placements have you had? She said 12. I was like, boom, genius move. So by you being creative, visually and musically, you could probably walk it both ways.
Yeah.
So if Lyriq hasn't put your songs in the movies yet,
I already told him he's gonna be on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Hey, was there anything else, man, you want to send us out with, man?
No, I mean, just my platform is King David on Instagram. You know, I have about 4 albums: Birth of the Messiah, Rise of the Messiah, King David Jr. on Apple. You know, all platforms and stuff. You can pick that up.
Sweet. Lyriq,
Yes,
got
sir.
anything, man?
Man, just hey, y'all gotta stay creative. You know, if you do not dream or if you don't pursue it, man, you're doing yourself the disservice. You can't worry about what other people are doing, what they're saying, their successes, and all of that. I'll leave with this. One of the quotes I came up with in the interview, and I say it, I put it out there. I even put it on shirts. You can't worry about the people that are hating or when you're receiving, pushback, because it said this quote is about haterism. Haterism comes from unfocused people focusing on focused people.
Damn.
Say it one more time.
Yeah, I was on that.
Haterism comes from unfocused people focusing on focused people. And if you're focused, it doesn't matter if someone likes it or not.
King David Jr. Hey, man, bless you, bro. I know
Thanks,
things are
man.
going
I
to work
appreciate
well.
it, man.
Oh, yeah. Things are going to be well. And shoot, man, may the people continue to listen to your music. I know you got a bunch of other albums, ready to slide out of you. So that's a given. You're going to keep it coming, man. So thank you, man. Thank you for being yourself and a free-hearted, free-spirited creative that's not afraid.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's it. King David Jr. Appreciate you.
So,
All right.
Peace.